The Patriots are currently 1-5, last in the AFC East. So, Reid, is it time for Belichick to get off the sideline and just go into the office and do his GM job, or do you think the Patriots still should keep him as their head coach?
I think versus what they should do is very different. I think they should just keep him in here. Again, obviously, he's showing that it was Brady all along, and I don't think Mac Jones is the guy. But at this point, you got to hope that you just like keep losing, and there's one more game, and you just have maybe a chance at Caleb Williams. You just need a shot at the top. Granted, do they need a quarterback? Will a quarterback play help them? I don't know. But Mac Jones doesn't look that great. Maybe give Malik Cunningham a chance this weekend. But I don't think it's time yet to call for him. Maybe you got to see what happens in the offseason, see if you can help the offensive line, see if you can get maybe some better weapons. I know Juju Schuster's – I know they've got a few guys there, but I wouldn't call him dead yet.
They're dead. They're dead like a fish who came up out of water. They're toast, finito. I don't think there's nothing you can really do with this franchise right now until Bill succeeds some power in some sense. Either you're going to be a head coach or you're going to be a GM, which I think he should be more of a head coach, because if you look at it and you go back in history to some of these coaches who want to be the GM and the head coach, it never works out well. Look at the end of Mike Holmgren's tenure in Green Bay when Brett Favre was there. Look at Pete Carroll after the Legion of Boom and not letting John Schneider do his thing, and they just fell apart. And then when he let John Schneider actually draft, he knows what he was doing. And Seattle's rebuilt nicely the last couple of years after the Russell Wilson trade. Let those guys do what they're supposed to do. They really might be the worst offense in the NFL. Might be the most hopeless situation offensively. Mac Jones, no protection. Offensive line's terrible. The only guy on
the Giants.
Yeah, they're up there. They're up there too as well. I mean, they got Ramondre Stevenson. There's no receivers that scare you. The defense hasn't been elite like it normally has. I know they've had some injuries, but I just think it's a situation where you're gonna have to bottom out a little bit before you get better, because there's literally no juice on that offense. But it's just the times are changing. Bill is a stubborn guy. He doesn't want to make adjustments, and that's what happens. It's same thing I've struggled with my Steelers, with not wanting to be more aggressive and be more open with offense, So if you don't, you'll get left behind real quick.
I do think that it did hurt them losing Judon and Christian Gonzalez. I know injuries happen in football all the time. Obviously, that's bad. But I think losing them – I mean, Christian Gonzalez was killing it for those first 4 games or whatever he was in for. And Judon, obviously, we know Judon's, a freak. So I do think that hurts him. But I'm with Adrian. I don't have him in both positions. Maybe just put him in head coaching and get him out of the GM. If you want to get rid of him and you can move him to the GM, maybe. I mean, he seems to know how to scout and figure things out with players for the most part. But you got to keep him in one or the other. You can't have him in both, I think.
Yeah, and I'm not ready to pull the plug on Mac Jones. I don't think it's all his fault. The offensive line's bad.
No, I don't either. But
he doesn't really have a number one receiver. He had Matt Patricia calling his plays last season, so it hasn't all been there.
Now it's Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, so I'm not ready to stick a fork in Mac Jones just yet. They gotta do some other things. They gotta shake it up with Belichick. They gotta get better O-line, and they gotta get him a true number one receiver in there. So yeah, I'm not gonna stick a fork in Mac just yet. I know they're gonna have a high draft pick this year, but I don't think they need to take a quarterback.
They're about to have.
They need to go get Joe Alt.
Yeah. Oh, the offensive lineman from Notre Dame. They might have a top 5 pick for the first time in probably our lifetime in the 2000s. I don't even remember the last time it's probably the 90s. Yeah. They had a top 5, top 10 pick. So I just think that's one of the things. It's hopeless. I think Mac Jones is not. I agree with you, Raaj. I don't think he's a bust. I just think his ceiling's very high. His ceiling's not very high. His floor is really good. If you give him a little bit of help, he can be decent.
Yeah, I know they'd love to have a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. If they lose enough games. Would you say
Ibuka would be, or Emeka Ibuka would be solid? I don't know if they'll get Marvin Harrison Jr. because the Bears are probably going to get him too.
The Bears are potentially going to have the number 1 and number 2 pick. Do you know how crazy that would be?
They're going to have the number 1 pick for sure. Yeah. The number 2, we don't know if that'll move. They can win another one. Well,
Carolina's bad. Carolina's has
that's where the first pick's going to come from.
Yep, Carolina's awful.
Yeah, so then the Patriots and the Cardinals is pretty much going to be third and fourth from what it's looking like.
Do you think hindsight's 2020? Obviously, the Panthers didn't know this. Do you think they're kind of kicking themselves for picking? Well, I know Frank Reich wanted C.J. Stroud and the owner wanted Bryce Young. I know that was a big top of the Panthers organization. But do you think they're kind of kicking themselves now, seeing that they have? Which I still think Bryce Young's fine. I mean, he's a rookie quarterback in a bad situation, but maybe they could have had Caleb Williams, which Caleb Williams could have been just as bad going into that situation. But do you think they're a little?
I think the jury's still out because they drafted him not giving him any weapons of any sort. So I mean, what do you expect to get if he's already undersized? So he needs protection and he needs some talent at receiver. So those are the two main things for a young quarterback, and he has neither. So I kind of feel like this season is going to be almost like a throwaway season because there was no progress made. There's nothing to show that he's going to be good or bad.